Jai Mohanji, welcome to our Mohanji Pune Center YouTube channel. I am Mamta Mohanji and we are reading the book I Am Mohanji Experience Sharing by a Disciple, which is written by me, Mamta Mohanji. This is the picture we stopped in the last episode. This is the blissful embrace by Sri Rama to Sri Hanuman, and we'll continue reading from here. Before I reading, I just wanted to share about the cover page story. On this cover page, you see there is Mohanji's hand, and that's me. So we have certain Mohanji accessory items like these bracelets you see, which are available with Mohanji Foundation. So there were quite a few of bracelets which I purchased from there for myself and my friends and relatives. And before I distribute them, we usually get them blessed by Mohanji. So the gift is really a very special and a blessed gift. So these were quite a few, and I didn't want to waste Mohanji's time giving him one by one to bless. So I handed over the entire bunch of bracelets to him. He extended his hand to receive them, and I put them all on his hand. So the gesture over here, you see that my other hand is spontaneously rising, beneath Mohanji's hand, so that because the bunch is quite a big, so maybe something drops, then I can just hold and I can just catch. So while Mohanji's gesture, if you see, his hand shows like he's so steady and stable, and we need to just have full faith in him, not doubting anything about him, so when we leave the things to him, he takes over and he kind of walks us through the life. But sometimes when our faith is not very strong, and sometimes when we are doubting, or we are trying to put ourselves in the ownership and put ourselves in the lead, like for example the extending of my other hand is showing here some kind of distrust, and that I'm wanting to have the things in my control. So this is something I wanted to share. This is a very beautiful picture. So we should have complete faith in God and just leave 100% to him, and he takes over and he leads our life. No need to raise our other hand, or to want to take charge of things. So that's about the cover story. We'll start reading from where we stopped last. So the subtitle here is Third Eye Awareness. I have mentioned earlier about Mohanji initiating us with his thumb on our foreheads in the space between our eyebrows, the place of the third eye. In just about a few days' time, I had this amazing awareness. Sanskrit word for awareness is both. I had awareness of my third eye. Here is the complete story. I was driving to Houston Airport, which is at a distance of 2 hours drive from my home, to drop a guest of ours. It had been raining very heavily on this day. The visibility was at the lowest, but I was not afraid and was very stable. Stability happens and gets more and more firm as we walk the path of spirituality. The rains were continuously pouring heavily, even towards my way back home. Throughout this long drive, I was playing devotional songs in my car. I have a choicest collection of bhakti songs sung by pure souls. The lyrics, music compositions, and voices are such that it can completely melt the devotion aspect in any heart. The drive actually became very meditative for me. The drive was long. Due to low visibility, I was continuously one-pointedly focused on the road ahead. A lot of concentration thus was getting built up over a long stretch of time. I was completely stable, relaxed, and immersed in devotion, all ingredients present to enter into a meditative state. People who are aware of conscious walking can relate well to this state of mind. The drive kind of became a conscious driving experience to me and was giving me similar effects. Conscious walking is a practice given to us by Mohanji. In this practice, we walk very slowly and Our one pointedly focused on the road just ahead of us at a comfortable distance of a foot or so. This kind of walk sharpens our concentration and provides great meditative effects. Mohanji has said that if properly done, a 30-minute of conscious walking is as effective as a 3-hour meditation. Now, this was like 4 to 5 hours of conscious driving experience to me. Returning back home, I had a nice warm meal and went off to bed. Now the interesting part begins here. The next morning, I experienced this extraordinary state. I was still lying in my bed. I wasn't asleep, nor was I fully awake. And I was surely not dreaming either. There was a lot of heat all over my body. I very clearly was having the awareness of an eye like structure placed in a vertical position perfectly between my eyebrows on my forehead. Then I got aware of the 4 milk white horses galloping in an outward direction from my third eye. This definitely wasn't a dream, definitely wasn't hallucination, definitely wasn't any imagination. It is a bodh, an awareness of the third eye. The third eye, which I had only heard of, which until now I never imagined could exist in us or could be really felt. And it was right there, existing for me, in reality, on my very own forehead. This felt like a boon from Lord Shiva. Initially, I couldn't understand the significance of the white horses. Later, one day, I happened to see the very popular picture of Arjuna on his chariot driven by 4 white horses with Sri Krishna as his charioteer. I could relate that the images of the horses was exactly the same what I saw on my third eye. I had already been so joyful about experiencing the third eye, and now this new connection to Krishna's chariot multiplied my joys. Now I knew that the horses that galloped out from my third eye were from the chariot of Sri Krishna himself. This is a super heavenly experience, rarest of the rare. The whole thing may sound like fiction, but it is pure truth. Here are 2 images. The first one is the image of the third eye, perfectly placed in between the eyebrows on the forehead. And the second picture is Krishna as the charioteer for Arjuna, and you can see the 4 white horses. As you continue to read, you will see throughout my journey, Mohanji has graced me with multiple occasions to experience such extraordinary and heavenly experiences, all perfectly sounding to be fiction, but true to the core. The next story is symbolically living the story Krishna's chariot. I was very joyful about my experiences until now. I couldn't contain them within me. I wanted to tell all my family, my husband, my sons, my mom, my dad, my sister, kind of wanting the message to reach them that I have found God. He is holding my hand. Metaphysically, He has arrived in His chariot to take me on and be my charioteer and guide me. I was expecting my family to jump in joy like me. I was expecting they would be so eager to know how I made it there. Probably they may want me to share notes with them as guidance to help figure out their own paths to this ultimate destination. They would display the crave to have God factor in their lives too. But astonishingly, they reacted that there wasn't much great ado about it. They were kind of cool. They were saying, ah, nice, we are happy for you. Sounds good, and stuff like that. Then the conversations got diverted back to regular talks about daily living. I was like, are you even listening? Is this thing even touching you? I was disheartened by their dispassionate expressions when I remembered Mohanji's story about Krishna's chariot from the retreat. My condition felt exactly the same as that of that bhakta in the story. We people are too occupied with terrestrial existence and to consider God as a possibility is way beyond. I realized that I had just happened to live in real time an excerpt from the scriptures, a story narrated by Mohanji, a story about Krishna bringing chariot for his bhakta, a frequency of an innocent bhakta that he honored upon me to live. The next story is my story of God realization, Mohanji realization. Then happened Empowered 4. Empowered series is a course of spiritual fundamentals with Mohanji. This was an online program. Participants were asking all kinds of questions to obtain clarity on spiritual fundamentals. I too have the eagerness to attain clarity, but more than anything, I needed Mohanji to first give me answers on what I should do of the crushing troubles of my life that had reduced me to nothingness. I got an opportunity to ask Mohanji a question directly. He was explaining about the four stages of life: Brahmacharya, which means a student life, Grahastha, which is the householder's life, Vanaprastha, the forest dweller's life, and Sannyasa, the renunciate. He was explaining how important it is to start detaching ourselves from materialistic things and attachments to relations. When he opened the floor for questions, this is what I asked in a very painful voice. It is comparatively easier to detach from possessions, but how does one detach from such a responsibility, especially in my case, where you are experiencing a shared body with your son of 25 years who is completely dependent on you for all of his needs? The answer that Mohanji gave was a hard blow on me, so hard that the tremors were felt across the empowered group, a group of over 500 people participating from across the globe. Mohanji said he never spoke about detaching from responsibilities ever. That was escapism. He explained in a detailed manner what detachment meant. He says detaching means nothing binds you while you are in the activity or while you are in the relationship or while you have a material in your possession. Not that you leave your responsibility. He repeatedly spoke about being responsible towards our dependents through all of the days of the course. He said taking care of our dependents is our dharma, the righteous duty. The blow felt very, very hard. It shook me off my feet, left me in tears. I was regretful of having asked a question which later on sounded like a blunder to even myself. Towards the end of the Empowered 4 course, Mohanji had this recommendation for us that we should enroll for Empowered courses 1, 2, and 3, which he asked the acharyas, means the teachers, to conduct for us. This was to bring us all on the same page and get us ready to be taken on for Empowered 5. I enrolled for the same. These were again all online on Zoom. Each Empowered series consisted of one session of an hour or two each day for 7 consecutive days. The Empowered courses 1, 2, and 3 were all back to back sessions. We would also be then given access to the recordings for the following 3 months. The sessions were very powerful and had a lot of wisdom. So I was repeatedly watching the recordings over and over again to be able to digest this wisdom into my system. The more I watched, the more I became aware of its preciousness. This was more than just the sessions delivered to us by Mohanji. This was a valuable treasure box to any spiritual aspirant. I then decided to pen down all that Mohanji had spoken so that I can have them as reference even after the accessibility to the recordings was lost. This needed a lot of time. Each 1 minute of time that Mohanji speaks would take me 6 minutes of writing work, even at my fastest speed. When you sum it up, it calculates to be almost over 300 hours of writing work to be completed in 45 days, the countdown to losing the accessibility to the recordings. This meant I had to dedicate 6 to 8 hours daily for the writing activity. It was a big time consumption, and I had to extract time out of my busy daily activities. I started working round the clock. In fact, I did not look at the clock at all. I had no time keeping about anything, including my meals or my sleep. I would just get done with the really essential work and invest the rest of the time in writing. I remember writing until 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. on certain days. Some nights I did not sleep at all. Then there were even days when I forgot to eat meals, sometimes skipping baths, unbothered if my hair was done, and things like that. Even then, it seemed like I may not be able to finish writing the whole thing. That's when my husband offered help. He transcribed some of the recordings on Google Docs for me. I just later edited these for any mismatches with the original recordings. This way, I finished writing each and every word, each single word that Mohanji spoke throughout all the empowered courses 1 through 4. Finally, I could take a breath of relaxation. In the days that followed, I started to read, rather, I should study in depth his words of wisdom through the notes I so made. I was very seriously contemplating reading with full concentration, trying to understand, digest, and assimilate the message, the teaching, the wisdom Mohanji was trying to impart to us. Amazingly, I found all the answers I had been looking for through these notes. These questions of mine were not ordinary or general questions of a spiritual aspirant, but these were the questions related to the most bothersome worries of my life, those kinds of personal questions. The manner in which the answers came to me is an amazing story as well. I was one pointedly concentrated all the time while reading, writing, or listening to the empowered sessions. My concentration was really sharp all the time and my mind was completely in silence. I believe it kind of awakened the aspect of Ridambara Buddhi, which means cosmic awareness, in me. I was able to feel very deeply that the answers that were coming to me through these notes of mine were indeed the answers I have been looking for. Then something big happened. An intuition happened to me. Until this time, I did not know what intuitions really are or how these intuitions come to us. This was like experiencing a supernatural thing. This intuition brought me a clear vision into the future about my deepest worries related to a certain aspect. It was comparable to seeing light at the end of the endless tunnel. My life felt sorted. Burdens laid off from the shoulders. Resistance released from the tense nerves. Pains vanished. At first, I ignored the intuition and I wouldn't believe it. I thought it could be a mind projection or could be hallucination. It would be foolish for me to base living my life on what could be hallucination. Mohanji very well knows that acceptance doesn't come to us so easily. There were quite a few occasions later where I could hear his voice, clear and loud, in my own heart. They were kind of validating the intuition or the answers which I was believing to be the answers to my questions. I telepathically heard his soothing, loving voice. His words were, "You have a value here. You deserve to be happy. I guide well. We are walking together, right?" I felt really overwhelmed. My heart was venting out in the form of tears rolling down my cheeks. This is the moment, the invaluable moment of God realization. A very precious moment, a moment full of bliss, a moment freezed for life. I realized Mohanji himself in my deepest soul. Mohanji downloaded in my innermost self. He was present right there in my heart and talking, a direct communication from Supreme Consciousness. I needed no further assurances anymore to believe my intuition then. It became the most truthful thing of this life to me. Masters have said that God is present with us all the time, as He is the very source of our existence. This until then was a theoretical statement to me. Now, very much in my experience, I have felt His continuous living presence in my heart ever since. And what does this kind of feeling mean to us? It means we are not isolated beings left to live all by ourselves on this earth. We are in His care. And what fear should we have then? Another aspect is when we are aware of his continuous presence, we kind of spontaneously become alert and watchful of our thoughts and actions. This helps to keep us on track. We will stop here for today. We will continue next time. The story's name is for the next time. Mohanji became a friend to me, a close friend. This is for next time. Until then, stay blessed, stay happy. Wish you a great life, great stability. Thank you. Jai Mohanji.